No one.
Live.
I figured. I lost.
I always try to get you.
Wait, what is that thing?
It's a temperature gauge.
Ooh. Also known as a thermometer.
Yes.
This podcast is brought to you by Stevie Wicks Cool Beans Candle Company. More on them later. But actually, I'm going to go ahead and uncap this. Stop the cap. Let's see if you can guess. Oh, Jesus. Let's see if you can guess the scent.
Oh, my gosh. That's so fast. Is it like...
You drink them. Or I think you drink. Maybe not that flavor.
What is it, White Claw or something?
No.
I drink them.
You go to the movie theater?
Oh, slushies?
Yeah.
That's slushy?
A cherry slushy.
Yeah. That's my favorite, too. Cherry slushy.
It's good. I grabbed that
it.
one. That's one of the 4th of July candles that'll be getting on their website imminently. But
Okay.
yeah, more on that later. Anyhow, tonight we're going to talk about Ron DeSanctimonious, Big Ron, Don Ron.
Don Ron.
Don Ron.
Don Ron Julio.
Telling you, man, between the two of us, we could be master political strategists because you remember when Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan ran.
Mm-hmm.
When they made that announcement, I actually said this. I can't prove it because I have no video evidence, but I did. I said, you know what their campaign slogan should be? America needs some R&R, and God damn it if they didn't do that. Like, not even a month later. I know I should have been like, "Where's my check, you son of a bitch?"
Pick up the phone.
Yep.
Because I called that shit.
I had a really good Trump voice manipulator, but it was down today.
Of course.
Yeah.
Gotta love when that happens.
So I found the only one I could find that I even tried to pay for one, but then they're gonna refund me my money because I bought the damn program because it said it had a Donald Trump voice filter, right? But then I downloaded the program and it didn't have a Donald Trump voice filter. I was pissed.
Did you get a refund?
It's processed. Of course, it'll take 3 to 5 business days. But I put a screenshot on the fucking ad that I clicked on. It said, Donald Trump, your software program has no Donald Trump. And I paid for it. I paid for the premium.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of premium, I actually just got another free 30 days of Canva.
How'd you do that?
I canceled.
Nice.
And then literally it was about to be up. And it says, would you like a free 30 days? I'm like, yes.
Yes, please.
I was like, because I know it's only $12.99, but...
Canva should start sending me a check because I've gotten 3 people on there now. And I'm telling you, if you haven't used Canva yet, everybody I've shown it to, I tell everybody, I'm like, listen, there's a free version, but it's worth it because the premium tools are awesome. Everyone is like, fuck it, I'll just subscribe. The background remover tool alone is worth it. In fact, the short that I uploaded today telling all of you great people about where you saw the chimp's head coming up, I used Canva to remove the background from our logo. So.
Nice.
And I cropped the text out of it, but I mean.
Check out our, check us out. Intelligence.
Partial.
Oh.
And in true average intelligence podcast fashion, I turned the thing that everybody thinks is always so original, the below average intelligence, just turned it into a joke because we made the joke first.
Yeah.
Why there's a fucking chimp in a suit? How?
I know, like when if I comment on something or somebody comments on one of our videos, and I'm just like, hard. I'm just like, be clever. Like the world is so bland right now. Be clever. Like it literally takes an extra 30 seconds to just think of something. Or a minute and a half if you are below average intelligence.
Take me about 2 minutes sometime.
I could have drowned, Gilbert.
Anyway, so we're here to talk about
Ron DeSanctimonious.
I'm going to start calling him Don Ron. Everybody says he's a fascist anyway, so might as well.
I don't get it. Like, before we get into this, I just want to talk about how loose people are with the term
I'm going to touch on that.
fascism.
I'm going to touch on that later, but it's a recurring theme because you'll notice, and well, no, I'm sure it's happened where people on the right have changed a definition to fit their narrative. I can't think of one. I can think of about 5 that the left has done relatively quickly, not even going into the changing in definition of genders, but like the word fascism, the word socialism, because they pick a definition that fits whatever they're trying to sell. What's another one that they've done very recently? Well, I'm going to touch on the word ban later.
Man, woman.
I said without going into the genders.
Oh,
but they change science based upon whatever their agenda is, because one minute they're the party of science and the next minute they say, well, the science isn't clear. It's subjective science, and I'm sorry, that's not how science is always. I'm not going to say malleable. Science can always be updated, but you have to back it up.
Absolutely malleable.
Well, malleable in
Just
the sense
not
that we just haven't figured something out yet.
Not in Ben Shapiro's words. Your gender is not malleable.
Well, gender isn't malleable, but
yeah, I know, right? Anyway.
Well, I guess in a way it could be, and this is another way the left gets carried away.
You can't change your chromosomes.
Well, but I can't believe I'm going to fucking say this. So the best definitions I've heard for gender, like, I can't believe I'm going to fucking say this. Sex and gender are not exactly the same thing, but they're linked to one another.
See, I need the thing. Wrong.
No, hear me out. So sex is
wrong.
So those of you who watch us regularly may notice a change in look.
Wrong.
There's going to be another change in look shortly, and then there's going to be some additional features added. Oh, well, speaking of announcements, I don't have dates yet, but relatively soon, you will be able to enjoy 2 brand new podcasts that we're not on.
And it's just our network.
Well, our very loose confederation.
Yeah. But you will be able to check them out on our website, ritamedia.org, correct?
Yeah. It's not profit. We just want to get the information out there.
Yes.
Naturally, because RTMedia.
Link is in the description.
Well, RTMedia.com was taken. But org sounds so...
businessy.
Well, no, not business. It sounds less businessy, actually. Because, we're not trying to sell you anything. We just want you to watch our shit and enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, then fuck off.
Yeah, but still watch it in the background.
Yeah.
While you're doing dishes and put it on mute.
Go ahead and comment on it, because apparently some people, particularly on TikTok, don't understand that when you comment on something...
you push the algorithm.
It's like... Some of you...
And the algorithm is not your friend here on YouTube.
No. Although there is one particular person, I'm assuming it's a guy, but I don't know, who has a particularly hard hate boner for me personally. But it's great because he's commenting on videos all the time, and I'm just like, you do realize that you're feeding the machine, right? I'm not going... I comment back just so he'll comment more.
He's feeding the geese.
Yeah, it's like, you don't... Hell, today he even said, do you not understand how TikTok works? I'm like, no, I do. Clearly you don't.
It's like, I hate you so much, I just got to keep commenting. I've said that to a few people.
I said that to
him. It's hilarious.
I said it to him. I was like, if you hate it so much, what? Surely you have better things to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there's something I disagree with on a video, yeah, I'll say something. But, if somebody doesn't argue back with something, mildly intelligent, I'm not responding.
Well, disagree and dislike are 2 different things. Because I can disagree all day long with people, but I still like them. Hell, Sosa was on my podcast, and there were a couple things we disagree. It was funny. We were trying to disagree more when we were talking about the Crowder shit, but we kept coming to places where we're not necessarily agreeing, but we agree to disagree. And it's well, that's not really what I meant when I said that. And it's kind of I was we're not doing a really good job of arguing here. But that's what happens when you have a civil discussion. You find most of the time that you have more in common than... And both made valid points, and we're like, when you put it that way, yeah, that's probably... But, Big Ron, Ronnie Don Duran.
Isn't it funny?
Yes.
Ron, Don, Nold, Ronald. Is his name Ronald?
I believe it is. Ronald Desantis.
Ronald McGoddamn Donald.
Ronald McGoddamn DeSantis. Sanctimonious.
Trump needs to stop that.
I don't think so.
I can't stand it, even when the left does this. I can't stand it when people make up nicknames.
I love it. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's super childish, and
I'm
the biggest child there is, so, I mean... He about to spit his milk out everywhere. Motherfucker's 35 years old, still drinking milk.
Like kidding. Goddamn Homelander, motherfucker.
That shit. Yeah, that's weird.
Actually, that might be what sparked this, though, because I watched recently the episode where he's having breakfast with his kid and his kid's mom, and he's just like gulping down big old glass of milk. I'm like, fuck, that looks good.
I wish I could drink milk. I can't. It's not fair.
Just be a man.
Dude, I used to drink so much milk. It's unreal. I didn't have any problems until I was like 25,
I was going to say, it's not uncommon for people in their 20s to just all of a sudden not be able to handle it anymore. Thankfully, that's not me because I'm a real American.
I'm only half.
Actually, it means that I probably have a little bit more Scandinavian. And maybe not.
Mr. George.
How much you pay for a new guy?
All right, so.
Florida
and Ron.
So I have with me, in my true dorky fashion. Look at my boobies, Jack. Look at them.
Oh, that's perfect.
I have not the entire. I've highlighted some parts of the transcript and I listened to the whole thing, so I knew what to pick out. Of Ron DeSantis' announcement that surprised no one that he is running for president. And even if it did surprise people, the fucker ruined it when he introduced him. It was like, oh, you have an announcement to make, and the title of the fucking stream is Ron DeSantis announces that he is running for president in 2024. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. Anyway, so the first thing I wanted to touch on, some of this is fact-checking, and some of this is just kind of elaborating on how we feel, because we have been unjustly accused of being hardline Republicans, hardline conservatives, and hardline maggots.
Listen, I just want to say this, to...
Appropriate shirt, by the way.
Oh, orange? Oh, yeah, there you go. Happy accident. There you go.
I'm wearing red, man, and my milk is red, and the candle's red. I'm not helping here.
We are, I just lost my train of thought. It's going with something.
Probably something around the line of, like, we don't follow any particular party line.
No, okay, now I remember. Is, like he was, my co-host here was saying that we don't really subscribe to one ideology, but yet we're being labeled as such. I figured most of you people on the left, you don't like to be labeled.
Well, to be fair, whenever we say anything remotely, I'm not even anti-Trump, just calling out reality, all the comments are like, well, you libtards are all the same. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't watch this show.
That's what I'm saying. That like I commented on one of our videos responding to someone, and I was like, you couldn't watch the whole 6 minutes to gather, and I would have saved you a whole paragraph.
Oh, I saw that.
And I was like, we literally said we did not like Jeremy's chocolate and would never buy it again.
I was going to say, it's like, we said as we were eating it, it was like, I would never buy this regularly. We're doing this for a bit.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to order chocolate offline.
No.
I will go to the store and buy it and have it in my hand.
Well, because what did I say? I said something to the effect of, like, listen, like, the marketing was funny, but Hershey's is far superior to this bullshit. Besides, it was Hershey's Canada. Like, who gives a fuck? Canada's... Fuck Canada and toast. Like...
Hey, dude.
I'm just seeing if he's watching. Fucker.
Toast with extra butter and some cinnamon sugar. Let's go. Phenomenal.
So, the first thing I wanted to touch on is Ron DeSantis made a couple of statements regarding the state of Florida, and some of them sound a little too good to be true. So the first one that stuck out to me is at one point he said, being Florida, we're number one in net in migration, which means more people are moving to Florida than any other state in the country. Not only is that a true statement, but it is the first time since 1957 that Florida has been number one in net migration, with 22 million new residents since 2021.
With the price of their houses, oof.
Well, it depends on where you are in Florida, but like it was funny because I know somebody that vacationed to the Florida Keys recently, and they were like, "I can't believe how expensive it is now." I'm like, "Now it's always been expensive down there because you can't get shit down there."
Yeah.
I said, "You're on fucking islands."
I was looking up Airbnbs and Siesta Keys, and holy shit,
Well,
was
that's
like $500 a day.
Well, Miami is fucking expensive, and then the Keys are even worse.
Miami's not too bad.
Well, compared to.
But Miami also can be seedy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's. Well, and then he commented once on the traffic, and I'm like, "There's one road. There's one fucking road. You're literally driving between islands, you dumb fuck. There's only one road." So if there's an accident on said road, you're gonna be there for a while. That's why you should get a boat. So another thing Ron DeSantis said is that Florida is number 1 in new business formations. Now this, I didn't believe, but I looked it up. It is true. As of April 2023, for the year to date, over 58,000 new business applications were filed in the state of Florida. Now, not only is this number 1, from what I could see, it's number 1 by a lot. I mean, by a lot. Maine was higher percentage-wise, but they only had about 1,000 new business applications. Florida, however, had 58,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He also stated that they have a 50-year low crime rate. Now, this is a true statement, but Ron DeSantis cannot take credit for that, or at least not all of it, because I looked up a couple of different crime statistic graphs, and really, if you look at it from the year 2000, they had a spike go up from 2000 to about 2015, and then since 2015, it's been on a steady decline with it didn't spike at all. It's been on a very steady decline. So Ron made a factual statement, but he really can't take credit for all of it, at least. So keeping him honest Ron.
Do you have anything in there about running for president as a governor in Florida?
They changed it.
Did they change it?
Yep.
And that's why he was able to run, because he had
Correct.
to get something passed.
Yep. Well, and it wasn't even, I'm sure he had a hand in it, but.
He should have just bid his, he should have just.
Well, no, because.
Bide your time, man.
I disagree. I fundamentally disagree because
it's not going to happen for him in 24. I can already tell you right now.
I think it's more likely to happen for him in 24 than it is for Trump.
I don't think so.
We'll see. But here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying it's like, let Trump get in their 4 more years. You're making the assumption that Trump will win that election, and that's not a guarantee.
I mean, if either of them win, we win. Just saying. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, Trump's going to start a world war. It's like, bitch, we're already almost in one right now, and he's not even president. And you guys are still trying to blame him for this. It's like, that's the problem with people. They don't, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not accountable.
Well, so I'm not disagreeing with you, but so a little bit of, I don't know how to say. I'm just going to word vomit, and then you can tell me what the word is. So, I saw a lot of things when we were criticizing Biden about Afghanistan. A lot of people were like, well, Trump did this, Trump did that. And it's like, yes, Trump did do those things. Yes, Trump did meet with the Taliban and negotiate that withdrawal. Here's the problem, though. During both the Trump and I believe the Obama administration, too, they both had points where they were withdrawing troops, and then something happened, and they sent more back. So that point is moot because Biden could have done the same thing. He could have done the exact same thing. He didn't have to give up that territory. He gave it up willingly, and I can't understand why he did it. Unless, maybe his whole shtick was, yeah, fuck it, we're pulling out,
And left behind billions of dollars.
Which, fair enough. But and it's not even so much that we pulled out that I had a problem with. It was how it happened. There are accounts, and I wasn't there, but there are accounts of people that were there that were like, this is an absolute fucking shit show. Nobody's thinking at all. Everybody's just leaving. And Trump did exaggerate the dollar amount of the equipment that was left behind. But, I mean, it's still in the billions.
Which is a lot of money to a normal American.
Well, point blank, we left military equipment for a terrorist group.
Yeah, but did you see any of the videos of them trying to fly planes or fly helicopters and then crashing them?
Yeah, that was.
And I'm just like, you couldn't find one person who knows how to fly a helicopter. I'm not saying everybody knows how to fly one. Yeah, I guess that's true, but that was quite funny.
Yeah, but the fact remains is they have arms. Now, granted, once they run out of ammunition for those arms, they're screwed. But they have them. They have night vision equipment. They have stealth equipment. They have body armor. They have all kinds of stuff now that they didn't have before. So if anything ever happened, which I don't foresee this happening for a very long time, but fuck, you never know these days.
I don't think it would change the outcome of a war with them, though.
No, but it would make it.
We'd still die. It would make it difficult, and we'd lose
more
people.
difficult, and that means more people
But
die.
we would still demolish them. Sorry, it's the truth. There's no. We are.
Oh no. We would.
We are the most powerful on the planet for now. But the thing is, we're starting to get caught. We're China and I'm not gonna say Russia, but if they team up completely, like they haven't said that, but they did switch to the yuan. You know.
Okay. Good luck with that.
It's been months though.
Yeah, I know, but.
We haven't heard anything.
That's okay. China's been on the brink of collapse for almost 5 years.
Can you imagine if their economy absolutely collapses?
It would suck in the very immediate, but I think overall it would suck for China, point blank. But it'd be very good for the United States.
Oh, speaking of, the debt ceiling was raised.
Oh, did they do that?
Yeah, and who was it?
Happen?
Kevin McCarthy. I believe the House passed it.
Well, the House passed it.
I don't believe it's been passed by Biden yet, but I imagine it will be because obviously he's scared as shitless of defaulting, being the only president who's defaulted. The only one, right? We haven't defaulted yet.
No, we've never defaulted.
Yeah, exactly. But you hear Donald Trump talking about that. He's like, I think we should just go ahead and default. And I was like, dog, this is not a bankruptcy.
Yeah, no, this is not the same thing, pal. He's like, doesn't matter. I'll still have a couple $100 billion. It'll be fine. I have precious metals and yuan and rubles and rupees and Zelda rupees, not Indian rupees.
You know how much money that dude probably has that no one knows about?
Oh, a ton. A metric fuck ton.
Must be nice. All right, let's get back.
Then one other part. Oh, this is just me being petty. But...
Tom Petty?
No, just petty.
It's free balling.
So at one point, Ron DeSantis mentioned Dr. Benjamin Franklin. And I said, hang on a fucking minute. I'm not aware of Benjamin Franklin ever receiving a doctorate. Well, it turns out, not really. He got an honorary doctorate.
He got it online. Just kidding.
No, he was never formally... He was an honorary doctor, and apparently some people did call him Dr. Benjamin Franklin, but he was never actually a doctor. So, Ron, do better. You taught history, my man.
So, what you're saying is Benjamin Franklin was a chiropractor. Just kidding. I go to chiropractors, and they're awesome. So, people that don't go, like, how do you live life so stiff? Why you no go to chiropractor? Uncle Roger tell you about chiropractor. He crack your bones, your spine. Have you watched him?
No, but...
Oh, dude, Uncle Roger, he's so funny. What's wrong with you Americans? You have no humor. And you lack flavor.
I've already had someone shove that fist into my stomach and break my goddamn spine. Alrighty. Another statement about Florida that I fact-checked. Ron DeSantis, talking about the 50-year low crime rate. If you look at the top 25 cities for crime in America, Florida does not have a single one amongst the top 25. This is a true statement. No city in Florida cracks the top 25 cities in the United States for crime, violent or otherwise. So that's not just violent crime. That's any crime.
Wow.
So Florida, relatively safe.
So when you see those news articles about Florida man, just know that, yeah, the news article's huge, but there aren't very many of them. They're just making it look like they happen all the time.
Well, they've already called that out.
Can you imagine if the news actually like covered like, I don't know, like Chicago or New York, like the dark parts where we know things happen and people get, taken out.
The deep state.
You like to see homos naked?
I like to see homos naked.
Hey, you gotta like to see homos naked. This is a great movie. I haven't seen it in forever.
I didn't care for it as much as everybody else seemed to.
Joe Dirt?
Nah, not my cup of tea. More of a water boy kind of guy.
Life's a garden, man. Just dig it. Yeah, I do love Waterboy.
Although, goddamn, I have a new appreciation for Wayne's World. Because I saw this clip the other day. And
Dana Carvey's amazing.
Well, but it was the bit where they were talking about how they're not going to sell out. And then they have, like, the sponsor. I'm like, I will sell out in a heart. No.
I posted something.
Maybe. Oh, you know
and
what?
I said it was you.
Yeah, you tagged me. That's right. Yeah, you did.
Well, I didn't say you. I said it was us.
Oh, yeah. I'll sell out in a fucking heartbeat.
Prairie Farms. Whole milk.
Just like
Oh.
Stevie Wicks, Cool Beans Candle Company. I tell you, Eric, you know the only smell I love better than money?
What's that?
Cherry slushy. That smells like cherry slushies, America, and freedom, all wrapped up into one convenient candle, which, by the way, you can purchase soon at www.steviewicks.com and fill your home with that American spirit. Capitalism.
It's good for the soul.
And great for our pocketbook.
And
that's how you sell out, ladies and gentlemen.
That is exactly how you sell out. And we haven't sold out of nothing yet, so buy it. Anyway, so getting back to DeSanctimonious, which I just say that just because Trump said it.
Well, he is a little sanctimonious.
I don't. Like I said, I don't do pet names.
I mean, it's actually a somewhat apt.
If I'm being serious, I don't do pet names. If I'm joking, yeah, I'll do a pet name.
Yeah, well, I remember that time Crooked Hillary tried to stay, straight, but...
Dude, it's been resurfacing on the internet, but, like, when Donald Trump and Hillary were... Hillary were debating, and he was like, you could have changed the tax code many times, but your donor friends would not... they wouldn't be cool with basically however he said that.
All of our friends, they all do it.
They take the same breaks I do. And I like it because Dave Chappelle, when he was talking about that, she said that, you're cheating taxes. And he's just like, no, that makes me smart.
It's true, though.
Man, I tell you what.
Now, Trump didn't change the tax code either.
No,
but
he just used what was there.
But he wasn't on the high horse talking about it. He was point blank. He was like, of course I do. Of course I do. Which, give credit where credit's due. That's the first time I've heard a politician be like, fuck yeah, I exploit the tax loopholes.
That was about one of the only questions Donald Trump has answered without trying to, do a full circle around the question and not answer it. No, don't get me wrong. He says fun stuff and nice things. Excuse me, but the guy does not answer questions.
Listen, Chris, it's like a circle. You ask the question here, I come around here. Funny anecdote, jab at a political opponent. Ha ha, dance around some more, run out of time. Oh, look at that, they won't let me talk. That was one of my favorite calls that we made, though, because we said, I bet they're going to give the moderator a mute button in the next debate, and sure enough.
Did they do that to Trump?
Well, they did it to both of them, but they did it because of Trump.
Yeah, because they know they both talk over each other.
Trump's the worst.
Yeah, and when Biden starts rambling, he just mute it.
Under pressure.
He'd just be sitting there talking.
Did you see him fall today?
No, he fell. All right,
technically he tripped.
I imagine if I watch it here on YouTube live, it'll be okay.
Probably.
Biden falls again.
It was at the air. Yep, that's it. He technically trips.
Oh,
there he goes.
And they're still clapping. What did he trip over?
Apparently there's a sandbag behind the podium.
I pointed at it too.
That's what they said. I don't buy it, but
let's see.
Well, you wouldn't be able to see it if it's.
Oh, check this out.
No, he's in front of the podium. There's something there.
Yeah, because something moved.
I bet it was that cord.
You know, the funny thing is, I have to tell my 7-year-old to watch where he's walking. How old is Biden?
77.
Oh, wow. You would think in the 70 years that he's got on my kid, he would know to look before he walks.
Yeah, there's
my
a lot
wife's
of
the
people.
same way, dude. She'll trip over everything.
There's a lot of people that don't look when they're walking, though.
I do. I got big ass feet, man. I don't like hitting my toes, and I don't like stepping in shit.
It happens.
It happens.
What shit? Yeah. Ah. So another statement that Ron DeSanctimonious made was that Florida capped the highest quota for tourism in the history of the state of Florida. Once again, I thought that was probably false, but it turns out it was true. 100% true. They've been seeing not steady growth, they've been seeing tremendous growth since 2021 when the state reopened. It's been tremendous. Then another thing he said was that in Florida, Florida has more black-owned businesses than any other state in the nation. Do you think that was true or false?
Say that one more time.
Ron DeSantis made the claim that Florida had more black-owned businesses than any other state in the nation.
Really?
No, I'm asking, do you think that's true or false?
No, I'm just saying, like, why would he... I mean...
Well, because he's talking about... This is the part where people were calling him a racist, and he was trying to erase...
I mean...
history. They were talking about the NAACP's travel...
I'm going to say something, and then I'll give you my answer. I mean, as governor, I'm assuming he would be able to see LLCs, and then he would see special provisions. So, obviously, he would know, so I don't have any reason not to believe him.
Well, it's true.
Well, there you go. See, logic prevails.
And I got the stats from Pew Research, so... Now, he did also say that they had more African...
What did you say your source was?
Pew Research.
Well,
it's an organization.
Okay.
Pew Research.
I've never heard of it, so I just figured if
you probably have. You're just not. It's one of the most cited.
Oh, okay.
Like, they do polls, they do research, all that kind of stuff.
Trustworthy.
Yeah, but like you said, like that would be relatively easy metrics for someone like Ron DeSantis, the governor of any state, to poll. Yeah. He just goes to the Secretary of State's office and be like, "Hey, how many of these businesses are black owned?" They'll be like, "Let me print that report out for you, sir."
Right. And I would love for someone to be like, "That's racist, sir." I'd be like, "What?" To have
just because
statistics?
They applied for a business and it's on those forms so they can track shit like this. Mm-hmm. Now, he also said that they had more African American lead state agency. African Americans. They had more African Americans leading state agencies under the DeSantis administration than at any other time in Florida's history. I could not fact check this. I couldn't find it, but again, he would know. So
he's the governor.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not hard for him to get information.
He would know. Now he goes on to say though, but with us, they're there because of merit, not because they're trying to play identity politics. So, and honestly, when DeSantis says something like that, I believe it.
DeSantis.
Oh yeah, that's true. We got a comment on one of our shorts on Instagram. It was on when I blew your mind that John Smith was played by Mel Gibson in Pocahontas. Yeah, John Smith in Pocahontas was played. And then this guy reminded me, Christian Bale was the voice of Thomas. Yeah, that's legit.
What?
Yep.
All right, I'm trying to figure something out real quick.
What you figuring out?
Double checking to see if everything's good because
copacetic. We don't seem to have you. You know what?
I haven't seen a single one.
Well, apparently we are.
Okay. I just wanted to double check.
Well. Screw you guys. You know what, though? That's weird because I did not get a notification, so some people...
I did.
I didn't. Let's see.
That's the first notification I've got from our channel.
Oh, no, there it is. 34 minutes ago. But, oh well.
Trey.
Trey.
I don't know. I was gonna try to say 34, and I could not remember what it was.
In what language?
French, because that was the only language.
Tomcat.
Tomcat?
Tomcat.
Oh. Listen here.
Mais oui.
French boy. Oui, oui.
Oui, oui, poo poo.
Poo poo bladder. Why would anyone name a food that?
Well,
and I know it's P-U-P-U.
So there is, I don't even know what you would call it, a mindset?
Pew, pew.
No, there is a mindset in, I want to say it's Taoism, which is kind of Chinese philosophy, not really a religion, but there is something called the way of poo. But it's not that kind of poo. Nor is it Winnie the Pooh.
The way of poo.
Nor is it a platter of poo.
It's a little runny.
Nor is it a deck of poo. It's just poo.
Pooh Bear.
Now, Ron said, black students in Florida perform much higher than black students in most other states. And I couldn't verify this.
That's rough to know.
It seems true, but it's very vague because you can break it now. But here's the thing. He gives some stats. He says that Florida ranks number 3 in 4th grade reading and number 2 in 4th grade math. Actually, Florida is ranked number 4 in 4th grade reading, but he was correct on the math, so I'm guessing that stat may have just changed recently. And that was a stat that was easy enough to find because I guess those are the metrics. And they do about as well in 8th grade reading and math, so Florida's doing pretty good. And then goes on to cheekily point out that after the NAACP issued their travel warning, he pointed out that the head of the NAACP lives in Tampa Bay, which is true. Because Leon Russell, the director of the NAACP, lives in Tampa Bay, Florida. Now, not for nothing. That's right, fucking stupid. I mean, there's no sugarcoating that. That's just dumb.
I'm just wondering how this whole...
Oh, there's some people now. Say hi, fuckers.
Hello, fuckers. No, I'm just kidding.
Keep firing, assholes.
It's like, how is this going to work out? Like, this is going to be a shit show.
Oh, 2020. I'm actually not looking forward. I usually kind of get not excited, but I kind of look forward to the beginning of an election cycle. And by the time it's almost done, I'm like, okay, we're done. Like, let's. Usually by the time the third debate rolls around, right
Not
before.
this last election, boy. It rolled on for weeks.
Oh man, that was funny though.
Oh, we can't count them yet.
Oh, that part.
Just saying.
I'm not talking about election day. Usually by the time the third debate rolls around, I'm ready for it to be over. The first one, I'm always like.
Well, because basically it's saying the same things over and over.
Yeah. This time though, like it's gonna be a fight of a primary. And honestly, it depends on what happens with Trump, because if Trump continues to get vindicated more and more and he manages to stay out of trouble, Trump
I don't think he's gonna have problems staying out of trouble. He's 77. What's he gonna do?
Fuck a hooker, kill a hooker.
Well, killing a hooker is a crime.
Pay a hooker.
All he has to do is go to Vegas and he can
all
fuck
the
a hooker.
above. Get another probe started. Like there's a number of things.
Probe started.
Another probe. Like, we've already done 3.
What do you mean?
Like the Steele dossier, the Mueller report,
Oh yeah.
Crossfire Hurricane.
Yeah, but the funny thing is about all those reports. Why isn't he in jail if they have such damning evidence?
Well, I know, and then you've got the.
I'm not saying the dude's not guilty. I've never said that. We both have never said he's not guilty.
The problem is now we don't know.
The problem is
because they made
they
shit
don't
up.
have concrete evidence.
Well,
and they're flying from the seat of their pants.
Well, and that's the problem. That's what the Durham report says. It's like, listen, y'all fucked up because here's why. You may have had evidence. You just didn't fucking look for it. Like, you took this intelligence that was unsubstantiated and started a major investigation. So right out of the gate, your credibility is shot. And now everything you find is rightfully scrutinized. Like, what the fuck? Like, and they don't understand. I see. Here's the fucked up thing. I think they do understand it. They're just not shy about the fact that it's purely politically. The whole spearheading of that investigation was purely politics. Which, I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If Trump is guilty of a crime, he should pay. But if you're going to punish Trump for that kind of crime, every other person that does it, because let's be real, every president in the modern era has done something shady, except maybe Reagan. I like to think if Reagan did something illegal, he did it by mistake.
What?
Could be wrong, but
Not the whole paying $5 million to that woman for the hush hush.
that's not illegal though.
Well, what I'm not that I'm talking before that. What did end up happening to Trump? And he had to go through something. But the thing is, there was someone else who went through the exact same, or that they should go through the same thing. I cannot remember.
You're talking about the classified documents?
Possibly, but yeah. But the thing is, like, I mean, he was a president. Like,
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, no one should walk out of the White House with documents ever. Like, they're not safe.
Well, it depends on the kind of documents and it depends on the why. Because again, some of these guys, a lot of these guys are working on memoirs after they get out of the White House.
That's true.
That kind of stuff, and some of it.
Fortunately, presidents have the ability to declassify
Up to a certain point.
They have to make it known. They can't just walk away with it and it's automatically declassified. They have to go through a process, I believe.
Yeah, correct. And the National Archives.
Just like anything.
Well, and the National Archives wants copies of all this shit, which is fine. Now, the alleged reason why Trump got raided was because he and his team weren't getting back to the National Archives.
Thank you.
Now,
that just made sense, or that just made me think about it.
Now, this may be true, but here we go again. I understand that. But if you're going to raid Donald Trump, then after you find documents at Joe Biden's place,
why didn't you raid
why
all
didn't
of
you
his
raid
properties?
Now, allegedly, it's because they were cooperating, but you don't know that.
Because they let you in his main house, because I'm pretty sure he probably has vacation homes.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, he's in Congress as a Democrat. He's a millionaire. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
I did. He's a fucking millionaire.
Bernie Sanders, man, when he was talking about...
Oh, God.
Somebody said something about being a millionaire and having more homes. He's like, yeah, that's because I worked hard all my life and...
Oh, no, it gets even better. This shows how out of touch Bernie truly is. Because I know...
I don't think he's a bad person.
Oh, well, it depends on what your definition of bad person is. Do I think he's intentionally malicious? No.
No, that's what I mean.
But I think he's out of touch, and here's why. Because I know exactly what clip you're talking about, and this is essentially what he said. He said, yes, and you would know, I live in Vermont. I have a residence in Washington because I work in Washington, and like many other people from Vermont, I have a vacation home. Really?
So everybody from Vermont has a vacation
Not
home?
even everybody. You think the majority of people, and maybe they do. I've never been to Vermont. Seems like a nice place. Seems like a fairly affluent place. Vermont is this fucking big on a map in the United States.
Imagine if Vermont got a touch of that socialism there, you know what I'm saying?
Well, from what I understand, Vermont they're not socialist, but they're pretty, what's the word, communal?
They're pumping out socialists.
Maybe, yeah.
Bernie Sanders is helping the fight on that one.
Well, why didn't he be? Because he went to the fucking USSR on his honeymoon. If anybody's a Russian asset, the fucker was there.
That's...
When it was the USSR. And he said, this place is fucking great. Mr. Gorbachev, I want this wall.
How the hell do you read that?
What? Like this?
Tiny ass words.
Yeah, yeah. Like and the.
I can't tell what it's saying.
So DeSantis also talks about how we found out this week from an FBI whistleblower that Bank of America voluntarily gave names and information on anyone who bought a hot dog in Washington, D.C. from January 5th to January 7th and then overlaid that with gun purchases that they had on record anywhere in the country. Now, the hot dog thing is a bit hyperbolic, but they did give that information over, and it was things like flights and hotel stays.
I'm telling you right now, any business that willingly hands over that type of information, everyone should boycott them.
Well, that's what they're calling for. And honestly, if I banked with Bank of America, I would immediately.
Done.
Because that's not even like a principles thing. That's like a...
Listen, Bank of America. Oh, I didn't have them. I had U.S. Bank. I was gonna say they sold my mortgage.
You motherfucker.
It happens all the time, but it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So I had heard whisperings about that, but I didn't know the specifics. So I looked it up, and I'm like, those motherfuckers. Like, that's like not even unethical. Like, in a way, that's, if they'd given that information to anybody else other than the FBI, I want to say that's illegal. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there are some banking laws that...
Unfortunately, it's not like...
Purchase histories?
Well, it's not like...
It's not illegal,
What
I
is
guess,
it?
but certainly unethical.
Yeah, definitely unethical, and just... They deserve to close their doors.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but anyone does shit like that, you don't deserve to have a thriving business in this
But we all
country.
know that if everybody did a run on Bank of America, the Fed would just bail them out anyway.
With our money.
With our money. So you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. And that's why I don't even know, because I'm not an economics expert, but I've heard a lot of arguments as to why a central bank is good for the economy. In principle, I disagree, but...
I've spent $1 or two.
Yeah. I've dealt with a bank here and there. Now, is Thomas Massey somebody that you're a fan of? Because I feel like I've heard his name before. I think he's from Kentucky.
Scraggly hair, glasses. Yeah, I've seen him.
Like.
Actually, I've listened to him speak. Pretty cool guy, and he's bullish on electrical.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
well, he owns a Tesla.
Well, does he?
Yeah, it was brought up in this.
I didn't know if he had a Tesla or not.
Well, Ron DeSantis actually made a joke. He was like, "Yeah, he owns a Tesla, but his license plate says Kentucky Coal."
Well, the thing is, though, the guy, and then so DeSantis was making fun of him, I'm assuming.
I mean,
or just taking small
joke.
shots.
Well, not even a shot. It was a friendly joke because he was telling Elon when he came on the call. He was like, yeah, and I'm the first congressman to own a Tesla, and I'm on Skylink, and I almost said Skynet. He's on Skylink, and he tried to get on something else, but it doesn't service in his area. Blah 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 blah.
All right, so
he was blowing smoke up Elon.
I followed Thomas Massey a little bit, and the guy's bullish on electric. But the thing is, he's not an idiot. He literally says, he goes, "Electric's the future," and he is. It's funny. He said exactly what I've said before on this podcast. I've said before, electric is the future, but we are not there yet. We're close.
Well, there are some places where
but we're not there yet, and this guy said it. Like,
there's some places where having an electric vehicle makes sense, and certainly because Indianapolis has, I forget what it's Blue something. It's a fleet of electric cars that you rent, and when you drop it off at one of the many charging stations, and that makes perfect sense.
Oh, you don't drop it off; you sit there.
Huh? At
a charging station?
No. You.
I mean, you can leave. I mean,
I don't think you can. When you're done with it, you're supposed to drop it. You tell it where you want to go, and then it directs you to the nearest charger. This is how I understand it, believes. Because they have the electric scooter rental thing too, but people are actually paid to go and pick them up because you can just leave those wherever. But they all have GPS trackers in them, so maybe the cars are the same way. But anyway, you rent one of the cars. It's fully electric. You drive around wherever you need to go, and then you park the fucking thing, and yeah.
What?
Yeah, but it's all downtown. Which,
I know, but still, that's cool.
I know, and that electric makes perfect sense.
And on top of that, that literally, I'm going to say this, but I will get eaten up anyway. So it at least offsets pollution downtown.
Yes.
Obviously the coal factory or however they get their energy, obviously it's going to do some more work. But that's another thing is it's like, why aren't we, I know it costs money, but why haven't they been researching and developing different cheaper ways to capture energy from the sun?
They have.
Or even we've come a long way from Chernobyl, so it's
nuclear.
What are we doing?
Well, honestly, I think the spearhead against nuclear, or at least people that started it, are actually oil, but they're basically paying environment. This is a conspiracy theory.
Oh, there's tons of jobs for nuclear.
So well, no. But this is my conspiracy theory. I think that a lot of there's big oil is indirectly funding anti-nuclear groups in the name of environmentalism, but it's really in the name of not taking away oil profits.
Would you say they're killing in the name of?
Possibly.
Now you do what they told you. Or now you do what we tell you. That's how Rage Against the Machine is nowadays.
Oh, that's right. So anyway, the reason I bring up Thomas Massey is because he asked DeSantis if he would sign the REINS Act, which, in layman's terms, the REINS Act is essentially it would require congressional approval for any regulation with an economic impact over $100,000. That seems like it would gum up the works a little bit, but I mean,
it's feasible.
Just more oversight is all. It's not like Congress is always busy. Those fuckers probably some of the laziest groups of people ever. I hear all about all these parties in D.C., and I'm just like, maybe you guys should, party less and, well, I don't want you to legislate more, but goddamn it, do something.
You're making $175,000 a year to do that. Like, what the hell? And then half of them, they've got their hands in stocks and whatnot. That one bill, I believe it was AOC, and who was it, Senator Hawley?
Yes.
They were trying to get passed to where Congress members cannot hold stocks. And I believe it went so far as their families too, I believe.
Yeah, there was a certain kind of cutoff, but like immediate families being like spouse.
But it's like they can still have a best friend from far away or like someone that they knew forever.
It's my understanding, though, that like it's not saying they have to sell everything. They just have to put it in a trust while they're serving. That's my understanding. Well, blind trust. It's not like they can get to it.
I know, but still, they're not going to serve forever.
Well, I know.
And then that shit's just going to be banking up. And then
sure. But it's not like they're going to be able to make stock purchases based on what's happening in the legislature, which is the biggest problem.
I tell you what, if you get rid of Congress, anyone in power, from being able to buy into stocks and whatnot, they won't want to serve.
Well, so you're touching on... I was going to bring this up when it comes to housing, but actually it brings it up here. So I don't agree with...
Or yet they won't want to keep serving.
Yeah. I don't agree with everything Plato says in the Republic, but one of the things, now he advocates for philosopher kings, so take this with a giant grain of salt. This is where I disagree on Plato. But he says that public servants should be completely publicly funded, meaning public housing, public food, that kind of stuff. Like, they shouldn't even be drawing a salary. Like,
everything's just taken care of for them.
Yeah. But it's modest. Like, it's not the shits, but it's modest. Now, where you run into a problem, though, is when you have people serving in Congress that have families, and that, to me, is like the gray area. But the way I see it, they're not in Washington all the time. A lot of them don't live in Washington with their families. Give them a fucking dormitory. Like, give them a nice...
The way... You know what? Exactly what you just said. If they... what Bernie Sanders was saying, I have a residence here in Washington, right?
Yeah, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so that he has a residence in D.C., there should be dude.
And like not
dormitories, and it's just like a small hotel room. It's got a bathroom and a bed.
Like I'd even say like a studio.
Maybe a little cookware.
A studio apartment, something like that.
Well, I'm talking something like 600-700 square feet, and it's just studio apartment efficiency.
Usually about 600-700 square feet.
Yeah, studio apartment efficiency.
It doesn't. What are you gonna do there? Like you're not gonna be bringing hookers back there.
Yeah.
Like you're there to sleep.
And
work.
And if you have a family, there are special rooms designed to accommodate for that.
I wouldn't even go that far because I can't imagine someone in Congress has unless they move permanently to D.C., which, again, if you had a dormitory, I don't know why you wouldn't send... Because they're not in D.C. all year round.
Exactly. So why would you want to have a...
Why would you want your family to be there? That's what I'm saying. Now, again, the president's different. They already have a residence. And... Fair enough. And I'm not even saying, I don't even think they need to be that small. I think you could have a fairly nice place, but it's a dormitory.
And, it probably would be a tad expensive to build this. But, I mean, just think of all the money we left in Afghanistan.
Well, think about the money you'd save long term. And, let's be real here. It's a building. Or a couple buildings.
They need to stop
in the scheme
pandering
of
to
things,
them and making them out to seem like they're billionaires who sit at a 14-foot. What were you saying, Eric?
we have a comment.
I don't know. Words. So they act like they're billionaires who sit at a big long table, who are literally talking back and forth from all the way down there because how it was portrayed, billionaires back in the day or rich people, but it's like they make $175,000 a year. Why are they acting like they are loaded?
Well, some of them are loaded.
Oh yeah, you're right. They are loaded because they dabble in stocks and crypto. I think Thomas Massey, I believe he's kind of like a crypto guy.
Yeah, he brings up crypto at one point, but it's nothing we don't already know, so I didn't bring it up. But I just think that would be a good idea. And you hear all the time, there are Congress people all the time, particularly if they're single. But even, actually, I don't know that I've heard a single person say this. But like AOC was bitching because she had to ask for money so that she could get an apartment in D.C. Well, if a dormitory was provided,
she wouldn't have had to ask.
I'm not even saying cut their pay. I'm just saying, because here's the thing. On the one hand, it prevents situations like that where if you're bad with money, like AOC is, clearly.
How can you not afford $175,000?
She hadn't started making that salary yet, though. But
she commute like a motherfucker.
New York, well,
I'm sorry, but there are plenty of places to live outside of D.C.
Actually, you know what? Hang on. I'm going to see something because she's lived in the Bronx, so let's just see.
Yeah, she lived in the Bronx, all right. A suburb.
Well, no, she grew up in a suburb. She did move to the Bronx.
She didn't live in no dangerous areas, as she said.
It is the Bronx.
Man. Jackie Chan was in the Bronx, man. He was fine. That was a good movie. Do you remember that? Rumble in the Bronx?
Yeah, that is a good movie.
Didn't mean to do that. That was a fantastic movie. Jackie Hand. Jackie Chan had some really good movies back in the day.
Come on, load, goddammit.
Load.
Okay.
Okay,
so that's a fuck of a commute. Never mind. From the Bronx to Washington, D.C. is about 4 hours.
Why the fuck would she live in the Bronx?
Well, she was from New York, man. No, that's what I'm saying. This is before she got her place in
Where
DC.
is her district? Do you know?
Not exactly, no, but I think it's in that sort of... I believe, Queens is in her district, so... Because she killed that Amazon plant. And she was like, pat me on the back. I'm such a good politician. Everybody was like, you fucking stupid bitch. Anyway, where was I going with this? So it would prevent situations like that where somebody would have to have money to get a place before they started collecting said salary. And it's like, nope, you're in room, what the fuck ever. Have fun. Everything else is on you, but here's your... And I even think that place should have a cafeteria, because if you have someone who's really dedicated to public service and, frankly, who wants to save money, I'd be cool with them having, and again, not shitty food.
Can you tell me where most people who are in the military live while they're serving?
Active duty would be on a base.
On a base?
Yeah, that's
in a dormitory.
For
the most part. So sometimes they're apartments.
Maybe not even in a dormitory. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, it doesn't have to be Spartan here. It can be nice.
Just saying, if we do it for them, and that's millions of people.
And actually, I bet there's more than a few service members who would like to see Congress subsist on military food for a while.
Oh. Give those bitches some MREs.
Actually, I don't know. Not all those MREs are bad. I've had a couple. No.
But all it is just dehydrated food, and you just rehydrate it with water.
Yeah. But I guess my point is, it doesn't even have to be shitty food. The place can fucking serve steak and lobster for all I care, but... it's right there. Make it so that they can focus on doing their shit.
Wasn't it AOC that was bitching about something to do with food or something like that in her $300,000 kitchen?
Yeah, probably. There are things that can be done. And actually, that's an example of a bill that I've talked a couple of times about how I like the gridlock in Congress, because I like it when Republicans control the House and the Democrats control the Senate, and you alternate a president every 8 years, party-wise. Now, actually, my ideal situation would be somebody like a hardcore libertarian as president, and then Republican-dominated House, Democrat-dominated Senate, and then a president that just vetoes fucking everything.
I feel like libertarians have kind of lost it lately.
Well, yeah, that's true. More libertarian-minded, but not fucking crazy. But that is an example. Like, that's a truly bipartisan bill, because we got AOC and... I'm sorry, who's the other guy?
I don't know. I think it's Hawley.
Yes, it's Hawley. When you have those two saying, yes, this is a good idea, how can that not pass?
It's a good idea. Just pass it.
That's the point, though. That's how the founders designed it, because they don't want a bunch of shit going through. They want good ideas going through. Good ideas that both groups can agree on and say, yes, this
and
is
benefit the American people.
This is what the American people want. And that's what goes through. All this barely scraping by shit, that's not how it was intended.
It's like, you know what we really would like? Cheaper gas and groceries. That's it.
I'm cool with that. Free Fast Pass, too, but...
Yeah. Come on, Kings Island.
Throw us one a year when we have the card.
Bro, seriously? Like, they should throw you a random. Like, not just like a certain day, just a random. But the thing is, you're able to use it whenever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, stop with the bullshit. Stop the cap. No, where you have to select a date. It's like, just give me a rando.
No, I can redeem it whenever.
Yeah. I should be able to buy it and be able to redeem it.
Yeah.
Bitches.
So, then the topic of Disney came up.
Oh, it's because it's different prices on different days. Never mind, that makes sense.
Anyway. So give it, like...
If it's a free voucher, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Kings Island.
Weekends, no.
So then... Ron DeSanctimonious clarified a couple of things. Now, I had heard this, and I was pleasantly surprised to hear Ron talk about it. So there's been this whole... Disney's been kicking up a storm, and Bob Iger, shame on you. They're saying that they're going to cancel this big building. They were going to move the Imagineers from California to Florida. And they're saying they're scrapping that project because of Ron DeSantis. Well, turns out, before any of this shit was happening, Disney was planning on scrapping that project anyway. And... that building was on the other side of fucking Orlando, not in the special tax district.
So you're saying
they were going to cut it anyway. But now they're just blaming it on Ron DeSantis. I don't know why this page is here because I didn't have any notes on it. Slip through.
Fuck that page.
Fuck that page. All right, so this is a section I'm just going to read in its entirety and we will discuss. So this is on the subject of book banning. Now, my preloaded dictionary definition, because I've been arguing with people for weeks on this. Ban, verb, officially or legally prohibit. Noun, an official or legal prohibition. Curse, the land might be smitten by the ban which one fell upon the Canaanites. Those are the definitions of the word ban. Now, keep that in mind. Quote, Ron DeSantis, yeah, so the whole book ban thing is a hoax. There's not been a single book banned in the state of Florida. You can go buy or use whatever book you want. What we have done is empowered parents with the ability to review the curriculum, to know what books are being used in school, and then to ensure that those books match state standards and are age and developmentally appropriate. So, for example, parents have flagged books in schools that, for example, teach middle school kids how to use sex apps that provide graphic depictions of sex acts and sex toys for people as young as 5th grade. Now, granted, I try to say this whenever I'm having the debate, but there's usually a text limit, so it's hard to say. Like, obviously, I'm not in support of banning anything. I don't like the word ban, which is why I don't like it when people bandy it about without using it properly, because you're not talking about the same thing. The Nazis banned books, okay? The Soviet Union banned books. That was a real ban. The Kingdom of Iran bans books, okay? Alexander Solzhenitsyn's book had to be smuggled out of the fucking Soviet Union so it could be published. Otherwise, he would have been fucking killed. That's a goddamn book ban. A school district deciding to take out pornographic material is not a goddamn ban, because if you really want your kid to read that book, you can go buy it on Amazon. You can probably find it at a pub. Well, actually, I wonder how many public libraries outside of a school would even have those books.
Yeah, you can buy it for your kid on Amazon, you sick fuck.
Exactly. It's there. You can buy it. It's not a goddamn ban.
Tell him, Brian.
And this is another example of the left changing definitions. Because when the state of California eliminates a book from a curriculum, first of all, you don't even hear about it, but trust me, it happens. I've got an article to point out here in a minute about Gavin Newsom putting his fucking foot in his mouth. Again. So he did it with the masks too, by the way.
I don't see how he won his re-election thing or whatever. Like, my eye will not stop watering.
I know, it's real upsetting. It's real sad. But
why would they vote
But
for that guy
here's the problem with this. When you shift these definitions now, then when there really is a book ban in effect, you've given power to people to already change definitions. Because then when an actual fascist comes around, they can say, oh no, this book is bad for the general public. I don't know why I lapsed into some weird like French-German proto-accent there. Sorry about that. But then they can say, no, this... Because then you can have an example of like... I feel like Iran would use this, like, this perverts the minds of youth. And then they ban the book. Now, again, you can't do that in the United States because we have the First Amendment. Thanks, founders, for that one. But you have given justification for changing definitions. That's why definitions are so important, because if you can't agree on what a word means, you can't debate anything. Because then it just becomes, well, I don't agree with that definition. And then you start arguing over semantics and nothing gets done.
You know...
So you can have a problem. You can definitely have a problem with this kind of curation. But then when you don't call it a ban and you say, no, I don't think these books should be eliminated from the curriculum, then you can have a discussion. The problem is, in this case, first of all, none of you have the balls to fight for these books because you know it's fucking wrong.
You know what the biggest issue is?
What?
We're not all using the... I mean, most of us, regular Americans, we use the... the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
Or the Oxford.
If you really want to get to it, the United States government and lawyers, they use different definitions from a different book, and I can't remember what it is. But the thing is, that's why, like, all that stuff, when you go, say you have a lawyer visit or whatever, that's why you need a lawyer. Because,
well, they have their own, there is a legal, I can't remember what it's called.
But the thing is, you can obtain these books.
Yeah.
And then you can understand what they're speaking.
Nobody banned them.
Yeah, don't ban books. That's just stupid. But, like, exactly what you're saying. Florida.
I'm not for banning anything. However, like,
they allowed the parents to go through and review the material and say, hey, I don't like this. Every
school board in every town all across the country curates what's in their library. It's part of their job.
Yeah.
So this is a matter of perspective. This is a case where, as far as I can tell, certain people were ultra pro LGBT, which, hey, as long as you're not involving kids, I don't give a fuck. Whatever. Even when you get... And again, this is subject to gradation because I think I'm going to make this point here in a bit, but I'll touch on it now. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This was on the blog post that I wrote reacting to this thing on artemedia.org. It's the most recent blog post, and it's on the main page, but I kind of make this point. And this is one of the things that I'm cautious about Ron DeSantis on, is because up to this point, I'm right with him. It's some of how militant he can be on some of these things, because it's like, look, yeah, for a fifth grader, sure, absolutely. What about a high school junior?
That's rough.
That's what I'm saying. That's rough because
I would like for them to be able to experience certain literature, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like.
Well, I'll put it to you this way.
Not everybody's mature at that age, and I mean, who knows? I'm
gonna find this excerpt from the blog and read it to you guys because I was actually proud
of
this blog post.
I'll give you a solution. Something goes home to the parents, and in order to let them check out certain material, and if they don't have it in there, then I mean you can do this anyway. But
we did it. If they wanted to show us certain kinds of movies, we had to. Like, sometimes it was a permission slip when we were younger, and sometimes it was just like.
But we don't have anything like that for the libraries.
Right. Exactly.
You can check out whatever you want.
Let me find this section. I'm actually very proud of this.
I'm pretty sure if you're under a certain age, the librarian would be like,
Well, that's what I'm saying too. So I take this with a grain of salt because, like, in an elementary school library, though, that's hard because in a high school library, at best, you're talking about 9th through 12th grade. Mm-hmm. So then there can be some discretion. But in an elementary school library, that's much harder to do. Let me find this post here.
Motherfucker's supposed to be reading about the wheels on the bus.
Oh my god, I was not ready for that.
And the boxcar children, you remember them?
Yes, I do.
I don't think they read about that. That's too racy. But we can talk about penises.
No, you can't talk about that, but we're going to talk about penises and girls that have.
It's like, oh, you're 6 years old, and you think you're a girl? Oh, okay, well, don't tell your parents. I've been seeing a lot of that lately. I don't know about 6 years old.
Okay. Excerpt from the blog on rtmedia.org. I highly recommend that you go read it because I'm very proud of this blog post. Then there are his stances on the teaching of gender/sex ideology in schools. Personally, I'm in full agreement that these kinds of things have no place in a classroom in elementary school. However, the lines get blurrier once kids reach middle school and especially high school. Indoctrination is one thing, but there are kids who are legitimately gay or legitimately feel that they are transgender. With these kinds of laws and rules, many teachers and administrators will likely feel too afraid to help these young adults who are truly in need of guidance and potentially resources. It's nice to think that all parents would love and accept their child no matter what, but sadly this is not the case. However minute the number, there are cases where a child is in danger should their parents find out about their sexual orientation. Many independent voters would agree that some of these laws have the potential to go too far without the proper checks, balances, and oversight.
If that child knows that they're in danger by telling?
Well, but there are some provisions where the school is required.
Well, I'm just saying, as the kid, if you said certain thing to, and you were gonna get beat, would you say it?
No. I'm not talking about the kid saying it. There are certain provisions in some of these, or at least suggestions. I don't know if any of them actually been made law, but like where if a student says to a teacher or administrator, the school is required by law to inform their parents. Now.
Oh, yeah.
Now, but this can go sideways real quick because there was one, I actually texted you and I was like, man, I need your detective help. I'm arguing with this person on fucking TikTok and I need an example of them teaching. Now, the criteria that person had set was K through third grade. I did find an article, though, and I think you sent it to me, actually, of a 6th grade girl who ended up committing suicide because of her alleged gender dysphoria. Now, her parents did not know, but apparently faculty members did and were encouraging her down this road.
Oh,
allegedly.
I would sue the shit out of that school.
They are. But let's take that example, but twist it a bit. I'm going to make it work for me. I'm going to pull a left. So let's say that this person did in fact believe that they were transgender. Like, in their mind, they actually believed this. But the faculty were too afraid to engage with it. I'm going down the wrong road. Now, let's say that law was in place where if this student talked to any member of the faculty, the school then had to tell her parents what happened. Now, let's say that her father is a particularly hateful motherfucker who is not willing to listen and, have a discussion, and instead decides that he doesn't want to, not his kid, and unfortunately it happens, and hurts or otherwise, like, I would hope they wouldn't kill anybody, but it's happened. That's a situation that I would never want to happen, especially if you're dealing with a young adult who is maybe just confused. Like, it happens. And unfortunately, not everybody's parents are open-minded enough to have a discussion. Like, people ask me all the time, it's like, what would you do if your kid said they were gay? I said, well, it depends on the age, honestly. Like, if my 8-year-old comes up to me and says, Dad, I'm gay, I'm just like, oh, pump the brakes. Like, you don't know what the fuck you are. You don't even know.
First of all, I would ask them, what does gay mean to you?
There you go. But that's still an enlightenment.
And they'd be like, well, someone told me this. And I'd be like, well, so-and-so doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because, but like, do you like men? Like, you know.
To me, an 8-year-old.
I would just be quiet because they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, I was going to say, because to me, an 8-year-old doesn't even have any idea what, like, an 8-year-old doesn't even know what they're sexually attracted to. The word sexuality and 8-year-olds should not be in the same goddamn sentence.
Like, bro, my 7-year-old, his favorite thing is cheese.
Exactly. Like,
Let's put that in perspective.
I mean, cheese, while awesome,
cheese is good, but I'm just saying, like his whole life revolves around cheese. Well, and now vanilla stuff.
That's how it should be, though.
Hates chocolate.
Now, if my 17-year-old came up to me and said, "Dad, I'm gay," I'd probably be like, "Well,
okay,
I guess you're gay." Like, fair enough. What do you want for dinner? Like,
for one, for the most part, I would say like 90% of people who are gay, you typically already know.
Yeah, like I'm willing to bet most of the time it would be like, well, yeah, okay.
Like, okay, so you finally decided to tell me?
Just be like, oh, honey, everybody knows.
It's like, I don't really care, but like at the same time, like, you know, you don't have to have kids, but you know, as a parent, you would like to eventually have grandkids.
Well, and actually, I've heard more than one account say that. Maybe this is going back a ways, but
in vitro fertilization is like weird. So.
Well, but for some parents, they say that
unless
your child coming out is almost like their child dying because not all that potential, but like potential for the
I know what you're saying.
This, I'm not saying it. I'm saying people have said it like that because in the context of like in their heads, parents have probably seen like a future they would like to see for their kid, and now
right
in some ways that's gone. So
and it's like I'm not. I mean, yeah, I guess I would consider myself conservative. It's like I'm really strict on abortion, and I'm really strict on certain other things. But like, you know, if the kid says they're gay and they're proper age, whatever.
Hey, think about it this way: if your kids are gay, you don't have to worry about them getting abortions. Win-win, conservatives. Checkmate.
That's fucked up.
I know, it's very fucked up.
That was good though.
Boom. Okay, so DeSantis continues. Oh, then he tells a story about when he was having, and I remember when this happened. He was telling a story about how when he was giving a press conference on the 6 o'clock news, he read and showed some excerpts from some of the books that were being objected to in the children's classrooms. And now he said the local news had to cut the feed. Not all of them did, but many of them did, because it was, quote, not appropriate for the 6 o'clock news.
But it's okay for 6-year-olds.
And Ron DeSantis just did the proverbial mic drop. It's like, well, there you go. Now, like, as far as I know, like, facts and logic here, you're done. If it's not appropriate for the 6 o'clock news, it sure as fuck isn't appropriate for a third grader. Should have been end of story, but...
They're trying to take away their rights. And it's like, they're under 18. They ain't
got
got no rights. Their parents have rights.
They have rights, but I know what you mean. Now, I'm going to read because Ron DeSantis has also been accused of censoring racial history. So, on the racial history, and this is a quote from Ron, we eliminated critical race theory from our K through 12 schools. That was the right thing to do. In other words, we're not going to take a kid who comes in at 6 years old to say they're an oppressor or oppressed based on what their race is. That's division. That's divisive, sorry. That's wrong. We're also not going to be teaching people to hate their country, but what we are going to do is teach accurate history. So in the same bill that banned critical race theory, see, he used the word banned, and I just don't like it. You removed it from the curriculum.
But, I mean, banning critical race theory in high school and lower, that's fine with me.
I just don't like the word ban, but again, that's semantics. We require teaching thoroughly about racial discrimination that occurred in American history. Florida's history standards require all the subjects from slavery, Reconstruction, segregation, all of that to be taught, and will continue to do that. I think what you see is the left and the media colluding on this. They don't want to actually defend what it is that we're actually legislating or regulating, so they create these hoaxes that somehow you don't want kids to learn that slavery existed in America, which is preposterous. No one actually defends the offending material. And the question is, why are there people so intent on trying to get all the stuff into the classroom? I think it's part of a political agenda. Well, duh. But I don't understand what that political agenda is.
You've said that before on here.
What?
Exactly what you just read, pretty much. Like, why are they fighting so hard to get this stuff with kids and in school? Like, let's make sense.
I don't get it. Like, they're obviously trying to, I say brainwashing a little bit hyperbolically, but they're trying to get people to believe a certain mindset. But for the life of me, I can't figure out what the end goal is. I just don't get it because.
I mean, at the end of the day, if everybody's transgender and or gay, I mean, they're not going to procreate. So, I mean, is it population control?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, I can't wrap my head around it. Seriously, if somebody I'm not even going to say buys into it. If somebody legitimately believes that, I want to learn. I want to know what the justification, what the end goal is.
The only problem is you'll never get a straightforward answer.
Because nobody knows.
No, you'll get well, you're just a bigot, or you're just a transphobe, and it's like, can you just answer the fucking question?
Okay, and
make it make sense.
And all the. I'm not going to get on here because it's too close to like tooting my own horn and like self masturbating on fucking camera. But you know all the reasons why I'm not a racist or a transphobe. Like, you know all these reasons, which I'm not going to get on here and stroke my own ego. But like, I just laugh when people say that. I'm like, you motherfuckers, if you only knew. Like, that's another thing. If you're arguing with somebody and you don't know them, don't make fucking assumptions because you're wrong. You're totally wrong.
That's the thing. Like, go back and forth a few times and get some ideas and ask questions.
Argue about the ideas, but, like, what did somebody tell? Somebody commented the other day on one. It was like, well, you're MAGA, so it's not surprising. I'm like, oh, motherfucker, if you only knew.
It's like, just because you vote for Trump does not mean you're MAGA.
Well, I've never voted for... Here's a fun fact.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't me stroking my ego, but this is a fact. I've never voted for a Republican in a presidential election.
He's the reason we're in this mess of
it's
2020.
My fault. I didn't
kidding.
vote for Biden.
I'll
say this on camera. My first election, 2008, voted for Obama. Bought into the change thing. I own that. And frankly, I think he was a better choice than McCain. But
you're also a young, dumb kid.
Yeah, well, I do think it was a better choice than McCain.
Well, hold on. Be fair. The 2008 to 2012 was still prosperous for most part, except for the crash, I mean, but that wasn't him.
That was during the election year.
It was 2012 to 2016, which was the fucky years. Like, yeah. And I'm going to say that because it's like all kinds of shit started happening because Obama and Biden, Joe, they were not for gay marriage. And then all of a sudden, in 2012, they woke up. And it's like,
because they wanted the gay vote.
Granted, I get it. I mean, that's fine. Like, I mean, the vote, but the thing is, say you're trying to correct your past. But it's like, that's a pretty solid thing that you're not going to change on if you don't believe in gay marriage.
Oh, no,
it's like, I didn't care.
No, I changed.
Everybody's. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you gotta understand. So
for the longest time, dude, I never cared. I was like, why can't they get married?
Well, no. Here's the thing. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't change my mind on gay marriage. I changed my mind on gay people in general. That was back in school, though, and because what happened is, long story short, again, not to toot my own horn here, because up until that point, I was arguing from like the weird Christian perspective about it being immoral, and technically from the Christian perspective, it is immoral, but a lot of things are fucking immoral. Catholics believe eating beef on a Friday is immoral, so take that, do what you will with that. But then,
even though beef is like literally the best meat for you,
especially on a Friday, like, come on. But then I wouldn't even call him a close friend, more of a friend came out, and I was like, wait a minute. Now there's a face. There's a person that I know that falls into this category. So it changes your perspective when even somebody you don't know well, but somebody you know.
It made you redetermine what you...
Yeah, and I'm like, well, this isn't a bad person. So almost instantly, I went like, oh, fuck, no.
Is it anyone we knew?
You might have known. I don't think you knew him.
Oh.
I don't know. But anyway. And then I've had so many people come out after that.
I was going to say because someone in particular, his brother...
Oh, no, I know who you're thinking of, but no.
And the funny thing is, we all knew that. And the funny thing is, then they went around like, they did one of those, oh, by the way, and it's just like, yeah, we already knew.
I actually said, I was like, well, yeah.
I was just like...
I literally said when that happened, like when he came out, I was like, was it supposed to be a secret?
And another thing is, and obviously I have nothing against gay people, but the thing is, most of them talk a certain way. But the thing is, I know straight people who talk that way too. and they're not. No, they're not. Literally,
it's like
not even gay at all. And
it's like the metrosexual episode of South Park. I was like, hey, you want to come back to my place and shove things up Mr. Slave's ass? Oh, I'm not gay. What?
But the guy that we know and I was talking about, he has talked like that forever. But the thing is, I thought for most of them, like, they put on like a fake accent after they become like really gay.
I have noticed it seems to enhance.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why?
Code switching.
Yeah.
It's normally a thing with more racial culture, but it happens with the gay community too. Yeah. Oh, so anyway, I was talking about, so in 2008, so this is evidence for everybody that says I'm MAGA or even a Republican. 2008, voted for Obama. In 2012, I voted for Gary Johnson. And then in 2016, I voted for Jo Jorgensen, begrudgingly. But
she was not a good candidate.
Well, but nobody was a good candidate.
Did I tell you that I don't know if I debated her, but I debated someone running her campaign Facebook. Yeah. You know, and I was like, so what do you believe in when it comes to borders? And she says, oh, well, I take a stance that's similar to how we were in the past, like 1900s and prior. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, that's fine. But I was like, then we needed people to man and work in the factories.
We still do.
And, well, we do now because we have a laziness crisis. That's what we really have right now.
Yeah,
is a laziness crisis.
Before we had people crisis. Now we've got a...
But, you know, I talked to her about that, and I was just like, we don't really have that issue at this time, because that was 2020? Did she run in 2020? Is that who you voted for in 2020 or 2016?
2020.
Gary Johnson, you said you voted for
2016 was Gary Johnson.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, no, I'm getting something fucked up.
2012, you voted for Gary Johnson.
No, he ran in 2016.
Jorgensen didn't run 16, did she?
No, I got those dates. So it was Johnson in 2016. Who did I vote for in 2012?
Oh, I gotta know.
I can't remember.
I didn't vote. 2016 was my first election I voted in. And the funny thing is, I said I was gonna vote for Trump on, like, just principle that someone else said that they were going to vote for Bernie Sanders.
I am trying to remember. I know I didn't vote for Obama or Romney, though. But I don't think I was libertarian. Maybe I was. I can't remember. I'm going to have to get back to you people on that. I can't fucking remember.
It's fucking hot in here.
It's a little warm, but... So moving right along. Actually, we're not
moving right along.
We're not far from being done here, actually. So
hey, do me a favor, anyone watching. I'm gonna turn on our air conditioner, and if it's like annoying, could you do me a favor and comment?
Please, just comment anyway. Make fun of how this shirt makes me look fat. And then to quote Ron DeSanctimonious again, actually, the one this week was that Miami-Dade County took a book that was about poems from, I think, like Biden's inauguration. And they moved it from elementary school library to middle school library. The media tried to act like somehow this was being banned. And you actually had Miami-Dade County Public School spokesperson have to come out and say, quote, there's nothing that's being banned or removed. It was basically just determined that this particular book was better suited for middle school. And so they put it in the middle school media center. They moved a fucking book to a more age-appropriate audience so more kids would read it.
Weird, huh?
Because an elementary schooler looks at that and is like, it ain't got no pictures.
That's what I did. I hated books without pictures.
I don't know, man. Senior year was great, wasn't it?
Dude, you know what I miss the most about high school?
Not having to think about food.
No, not have to think about food. Well,
I have to make my own goddamn lunch every day now.
I was getting ready to say, it's lunch. Lunch was the best part, dude. We had good lunches.
We did, actually, yeah.
I'm just glad we did not have a freaking Michelle Obama in our day.
Actually, I kind of wish we did because... So, there's a Facebook post that was going around. This has been...
Bro, we weren't fat asses then.
I was.
But the people... They weren't. But most of the people... nowadays are getting fat off of these highly processed foods
but that's what
they're
it
not
is.
Receiving any nutrition.
That's what it is, though. It's the process of the foods.
Yeah.
Like
that's it. I was like, look, dude, you can eat pizza all day long if it's made with, ingredients that aren't super highly processed,
So,
like white flour, which is hard to make a pizza without.
well, and again, it's our white flour. It's not white flour in general.
No, it's white. It's white flour because flour is not actually white, like
Oh yeah, okay.
because just like rice. Rice isn't meant to be white.
Actually, it is.
It's the bran is taken away and then it's bleached.
Well, it's not bleached.
Yes, sir. Look it up.
No, white rice is better for you than brown because they get rid of the husk.
White rice has fiber in it. Or I'm sorry. Brown rice has fiber in it. And what does fiber do for you?
It technically makes your stool fuller.
It takes longer to break down in your system, therefore having a less of a insulin. I can't think of the right words. It's not coming to me. Your insulin response is less when you have more fiber
I don't know.
in food.
I've heard conflicting reports on that, but you know what else I'm
Blood
tired.
work, buddy.
I'm tired of hearing conflicting reports on this too. Is milk good or bad? It depends on who you fucking ask. Apparently,
you don't have to drink cow's milk.
No.
And actually, like most people's stomachs, like mine, and actually, what did we say that the I think it's like 6 out of 10 people are lactose intolerant.
Not in the United States. In the
to
world.
a degree.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
they can eat so much and then they'll have issues.
Right.
Like me, if I one thing, I'm going to it.
But I'm just because we were talking about
Or
this before we
nauseous.
went on air. I'm sorry.
Milk is delicious.
Milk and eggs are great for you. Fuck what anybody says because I've only been drinking milk regularly for a couple days now, and honestly, I feel fucking stupendous.
You know what the problem is?
What's the problem?
The problem is that
What's the problem, man?
the Americans, we're fucking idiots.
Yeah,
Like,
we really are.
we have a lot of smart people, and then we have a lot of dumb people.
And unfortunately, the dumb people keep fucking.
Unfortunately, back in the 80s, early 90s, when they were on the fat craze, like fat's bad for you. Fat is detrimental. Like, have you ever eaten the fat
Well, I think
in a ribeye?
I think you misused the word detrimental. I think you meant delicious.
No, I mean fat is detrimental to your system. Like
Detrimental is bad. I think you mean essential.
Am I saying that wrong? Okay.
Yeah.
See, listen. Average Intelligence Podcast. You heard it here. My stupidity came out like hardcore hitting today. I don't really say too many stupid things.
Could drown, Gilbert.
But hey, I did today. My bad.
I just know somebody was.
Why did you let me keep going on that?
Why didn't I? Say
No, that's typical liberal thing. You know, I have to blame someone else for my problem.
There you go, yeah.
I couldn't drown, Gilbert.
Okay. So.
Look at my boobies, Jack.
Look at them.
Look at them.
The headline reads: Governor Newsom jabs red states for books pulled in California. As he jetted off for a 2-week family gaycation, Freudian slip there, for a 2-week family vacation, Governor Gavin Newsom jabbed his red state rivals with a selfie tweet showing him seated at a table with an artfully arranged stack of novels, saying that he's, quote, reading some banned books to figure out what these states are so afraid of. The Democratic governor's office confirmed it was aimed at efforts in Republican-led Texas and Florida to keep controversial... Oh, geez, it skips around a lot. So it shows the selfie. Wow, this is skipping around quite a bit. Oh, it cut off the page. So 7 keep controversial books out of school libraries. It didn't take long. It didn't take the Twitterverse long to point out that at least one of the 4 identifiable books in his stack, To Kill a Mockingbird, had been pulled from the curriculum recently by a California school district.
They pulled To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah. Oh, get this. Quote, the woke progressives in California, parentheses, Newsom voters, banned To Kill a Mockingbird for, quote, anti-racism purposes. Christina Pushaw, press secretary for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, tweeted in response. And this is true. If you, a quick Google search will show you a list of books that are banned, and using their definition, because it's not actually banned. I'm going to follow my own rules here. A simple Google search will show you the books that were removed from many school districts in California's curriculum, including To Kill a Mockingbird, but also, and some of these don't even make sense to me, Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. These are all books that in it is. These are all books that in September 2020 the Burbank Unified School District in Los Angeles County dropped. So this isn't a conservative district. They dropped To Kill a Mockingbird, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, and for that I can't even fathom why, other than he kills Lenny in the end, but I mean, fuck. Theodore Taylor's The K, and Mildred D. Taylor's Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, from its curriculum, and also in another school district, the graphic novel Mouse. Oh, here we go. Oh, in Texas, Governor Abbott. Oh, this is in Tennessee. In Tennessee, the graphic novel Mouse, M-A-U-S, a Pulitzer Prize-winning graphic novel about the Holocaust, was removed, citing its, quote, unnecessary use of profanity and nudity in its depiction of violence and suicide. So, yeah, I could see that. I haven't read Mouse, so I can't speak to the level. I mean, that's where it gets tricky, because some of the media about the Holocaust is, I would say, a little too harsh for certain age groups. Now, once you get to upper high school, and especially at the collegiate level, nothing's off limits. Hit them with the truth.
Collegiate. I like that.
Collegiate. I like that word.
That was very
sounds
above average.
It sounds very collegiate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost two.
We're making too much sense over here. No, it's because you fucked up.
Yeah. No, that's exactly... No, because of the delay. How bad the delay is. Like, when we were talking to... What was it? Toast?
Yeah.
Like, just chatting. It was, like, bad.
Very
no, it wasn't Toast. It was our other buddy, Username. Which I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh,
or her.
Oh, well, fuck.
I don't know who it is. Their name's just Username.
Oh, okay. So, then they moved on the topic of immigration. And this is where I probably have the most difference of opinion with Mr. Desantis. Quote, I'd reverse what Biden's doing. You need to shut the border down. You should not be entertaining these asylum claims for people crossing illegally. Now, asylum is a legitimate thing, but these are people that when they come, I mean, they're being persecuted. These people coming overwhelmingly are economic migrants that are coming across many other different countries. They should be applying for asylum there if they were truly qualifying for that, but they're not. See, it's specifically the asylum part that I have an issue with, because there are many reasons why someone may be applying for political or asylum in a different country. Some of those being violence. So I can understand why somebody may not want to stick around to apply in their country of origin. So at some point, they're going to have to go to a different country anyway. Now, I think you should be able to apply for asylum at the border, and we should have things in place for people who are doing so. Now, we have guidelines for asylum, but I don't think those have to be super complicated. Are you from a persecuted group? Is there violence where you are, particularly if there's a war? Are you a minority group that's been being or has been persecuted?
How bad does it have to be in someone's country for them to weather being raped? I'm not going to say the actual word, but you know what I'm saying? Like, on the way up here. And then halftime, you know, it's happening all the time.
That has to be fucking terrible.
I'm like, what? Like, and it's halftime, it's parents that, you know, send their kids up here with a coyote.
Yeah, because they can't afford to send the whole family.
And they know exactly what's going to happen.
Or at least they have some inkling.
Is it really that bad in that country? Like,
I would say yes.
We don't know, because we don't hear about that.
People talk about it all the time. They just don't put it on the news.
No, I'm talking about in their countries.
Yeah, no, I met a few people.
You would think if they really wanted to get all this shit done and get more judges and get more, like, get more things down to get people processed quicker. Jesus Christ.
But they don't want to.
That's what I'm saying, though. Get those fucking countries and, like, get some, be like, this is what they're dealing with. come on, can we speed this up? But they're fucking idiots, you know. And I say this all. I'm like, listen, Democrats, you guys have dropped the ball so many times. Like, if you really care about the American people, like you say you do, why, or even other people in other countries. I'm sorry, we're talking about that. But why haven't you like gotten serious?
Because if they do fix it, they can't run on it. That is racist.
But listen, if they fix something like that like is so important, I would continue to vote for someone like that.
I would too, and that's what I think they don't get. They think too short term. Because and like I'll use this as an example.
They don't have common sense. We'll just go with
Not
that.
very many of them, but
I'm seeing a lot of Republicans not have
so
common
like
sense
I'll tell you right now that if I was in a position, probably if I were president, but if I were in a position to do this, the first thing I would do is anyone fleeing a legitimate communist regime automatically get, like, you still have to do the paperwork and shit and get a background check, but as long as that, you get your asylum.
Well, and another thing is, why is it so expensive? Who's
Again.
getting paid for them to fill out paperwork and take a little course?
There you go.
What the fuck? Like, my buddy, he's married to, I believe she was a visa worker.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like 10 grand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like 10 grand is a lot of money. Like at once.
Yeah, you want to talk about subsidizing something.
Yeah.
Like,
like
for fuck's sake.
I'm like, I'm just like, why is it so expensive to that? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you really think about it, it's to make sure people are serious. But I'm like, these people are coming to this country with nothing.
I'd say they're pretty fucking serious.
Exactly. I'm like, they're coming to this country with nothing. Like, Democrats and Republicans want to talk about this, but why is it so expensive to immigrate here? Like, what, and for one, that money, it's not, I mean, where is it going anyway? Like, there are millions of people who immigrate to this country every year, and that money collected, why are we in a deficit?
Yeah, for real.
You pay to drive on the roads, you pay to buy a freaking candy bar. I'm talking taxes wise. You pay for all this stuff and everything's taxed. How are we in a deficit, and why aren't people being fast tracked? Like, even Trump was talking about this. He was talking about getting more judges down there, and then obviously he lost the election. So he's not going to fix things unless he got reelected, and rightfully so.
Well, but again, that's part of, where Trump was unjustly, harshly judged, is in order to solve those kinds of problems, you have to go through some uncomfortable shit. It is what it is. It's not pretty, but he did it. He was addressing the fact that, coyotes are human trafficking all the time. I'm sorry.
Kids riding the backs of coyotes.
That shit was funny.
What kind of an idiot thinks that? Like, I don't get it.
That was, oh my God. And I didn't see like screenshots of these. I saw some of these comments in real time, and I'm just like, you do know that's what they're called,
it's
right?
Like, you're joking, right?
Like, are we being serious?
That's almost as bad as someone doing a report on euthanasia when it was supposed to be about euthanasia. Does that make sense out there?
I wish you
YouTube
had
world?
that paper.
I wish I did too. It was a damn good paper. And then I got a 0 because it was supposed to be euthanasia. I was like, bitch, you didn't frickin' spell it for me, and I'm in the 5th grade. I'm an idiot.
It was actually a really good paper. Because you talked about some of the hardships. Like, you talked about the one-child policy.
Bitches.
I feel like you should have gotten an A out of principle.
Well, they don't have the one-child policy anymore now.
No, but it's still rippling through China as we speak.
Well, China actually revoked it.
I know, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
The problem is now I think the ratio is like 50-1 of eligible bachelors to single women. Like
it's a meat fest in China.
Like, well, like to the point that there are women, like, you have wife resumes that women draft up. I'm serious. There's parks where they have like public, it's not even speed dating because it's like one dude and 50 chicks.
Oh, I heard it backwards.
Oh yeah, no.
What?
No, wait. No, I got that.
There's more men than women.
Yes, I got that.
Okay, all right.
I got that mixed up on
All
the
right.
second part. My bad.
Because at first I was like, wait a minute, what?
No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. So there are women that are, there are men who are putting together resumes that are like pick-me husbands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. There's a meat fest over there.
Oh, yeah.
But what's funny is China is so expensive because you would think there'd be
China.
China's so expensive and they're so racist. They're not imported.
Dude, someone.
The chick of the Chinese chicken. You
Well,
grab
no.
a drumstick and your brain stops sticking.
Well, and there's the dark side, another dark side of the one child policy. Yeonmi Park can speak to this. She and her mother were trafficked from North Korea to China and sold as wife. Well, she was sold as a different kind, but her mother was sold as a wife for some rural Chinese farmer.
What the fudge?
Human trafficking, my friend.
I don't get how someone can just be okay with that. Like, and I understand they're desensitized, and like after a while, I'm talking the traffickers. Like, how I get they're being paid, but I'm just like, dude, like,
Yeah,
how could you do that? You have to be a certain type of person,
Well, let's look at it too, because
or you have to be desensitized.
Well, this isn't talked about very often either. So about how xenophobic a lot of other countries are, and it just doesn't get talked about. Like, I have been told and read accounts of how racist many people in China actually are. Like, a Korean to them, particularly a North Korean.
Oh,
is
Koreans are really racist.
Yeah, I've
I literally just watched something today on it, and somebody calls me out, I'll post it in the fucking comments.
Well, Japan has laws all across, or not laws. There are plenty of restaurants all throughout Japan that say like no foreigners allowed. Like
in Japan?
Yeah, in Japan.
Because Japan has a high tourist rate, and they probably have tourist areas.
It's not even so much that. It's just that like, and in response, the government says, well, Japan doesn't have a racism problem, so they don't do anything about it. When Japan has a storied history of being fucking racist as hell. Like hardcore racist.
I don't even get that either. Like racism. I don't get it.
Well, Japan.
Why do you hate somebody just because of what they are?
Well, but that's because you live in the United States, which I'm going to go out on a limb here and say in terms of true tolerance, the United States of America is the most tolerant society in the history of the planet by far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but gay people can exist here without being
And
direct
before-
threat of, being unalived.
And before anybody says Canada, Toast spoke to this. I know a few other people that are members of minority communities
They're
that live
not
in.
very free up there.
Well, it's not even that they're not free, but I've met more than a few people that belong to minority populations in Canada who talk about racism happening almost weekly. Like
easily.
open, blatant racism, like being called slurs. Even though that's allegedly illegal in Canada,
Oh, you hoser.
that's not a slur. That's just awesome. Or like being looked at certain ways. Like I heard a story about a woman was walking her dog, and she's Indian. She was Indian, but I can't remember it. God damn it.
As in, Canadians were being racist?
Yeah.
Really?
Why can't it cakers?
I thought they were super nice, eh?
That's what you're told, but it's like real low key racism. Like this is the example. So this woman was walking her dog.
Passive aggressive.
It's not blatant racism, but here's what happens.
All right.
So, woman's walking her dog. Dog's very well behaved, and at this dog park, and there's this lady giving her the stink eye, and it's not her fucking dog because there's dogs doing all kinds of crazy shit, but she keeps giving her the stink eye, and she never actually said anything, except like being like, you should take your dog and go home. That kind of shit. She's the only non-white person there. That kind of shit. Or like one time she got the cops called on her because some kids were smoking weed. This is before it was legal in Canada. Outside of her, I guess it would be a townhouse or something. This is a report that I read. And again, I think she was East Indian as well. And got the cops called on her because a neighbor smelled weed. And of course they said, oh, well, it has to be them because, it had to be the Packy is what was quoted. Which, by the way, Packy is a racial slur.
Yeah.
And it's also inaccurate because she was East Indian, but...
I don't know.
And, don't get me wrong. Racism exists in the United States. For sure. There are racists everywhere. But as a society...
We're probably the least.
I would say. And don't even get me started on Mexico.
Oh, really?
It's weird. some. I'm not gonna say
Fucking
all.
gringo, man.
No, here's the weird thing.
They're not
like,
racist to white people.
Well, I'm sure there are but it's weird.
Like,
Like,
guy over there is like, hey man, don't talk to the other Mexican.
no, man, I've legitimately had a Chicano, which is a person of Mexican descent, but who was born and raised in the USA, tell me like, oh, don't date women from Honduras. They're all crazy, and he means it. He's not being funny. Or like, hey man, you can't date women from Colombia, or you can't, like, Colombians are like, they're all spoiled rich princesses, and they're just all gold diggers. Like,
were you dating one?
well, yeah, but this is what he was telling me.
Okay.
This is before, like, he's just saying, like,
okay.
these are just things that he said over the years.
Yeah, and not like full well knowing the absolute truth. Like he just had a bad experience.
But these are, well, it's not even that. There are stereotypes that are perpetuated throughout, and it's like Felipe Esparza, I think his name is. He's a Mexican comic, hilarious as fuck. But he was like, man, when white and black people aren't around, we're racist against each other for fun. Like, it's a pretty funny bit, actually.
The guy I was talking about earlier,
Uncle Roger.
Yeah.
I believe he's Chinese. But the thing is, he was talking about. No, actually, I don't think he's Chinese. He was talking about China. He's like, oh, that's a terrible country. But I'll have to send you some stuff on him, dude. He's hilarious.
All right. There's only one more thing I wanted to touch about on Ron DeSanctimonious. At one point, he talked about...
His buttocks?
No, when they were talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, he started talking about school accreditation. And I quote, "We're going to be doing alternative accreditation regimes.
God damn it.
Where instead of saying you will only get accredited if you do DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, you'll have an accreditor that will say, we will not accredit you if you do DEI. Now, again, this is one of those things where, like, on its face...
Stop the fucking inclusion bullshit.
Well, on its face, I'm not really opposed to that, but alternative accreditation will completely do away with the point of accreditation. Because if you can get accredited from anywhere, then who fucking cares?
Exactly. That's, yeah.
Which may not... Admittedly, that may not be a bad thing. I've just never experienced it, so I don't know.
It doesn't sound like it makes sense. When you go to college or school, you're going there for a grade that you earn. Why would it matter what your skin color is?
Well, right. That's, yeah. Now, historically, there's a precedent for this, but not now.
We're past all that.
Yeah, we really are.
Literally, there is no reason anyone in this country cannot be taken to the brink of being homeless, and then, okay, I'm explaining myself wrong.
There's no reason why somebody can't become a
pull
millionaire.
themselves up.
It's not even about pulling themselves up.
Not even a millionaire.
There's
just
some,
well, you know, just
well, no,
well off.
The dictionary definition of a millionaire is someone with a net worth of $1 million, which, depending on where you live, sometimes your house can put you halfway there if you own it outright.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have to own it. You can't owe the bank.
Well, technically, I don't have the deed, but it is in my name, and the bank holds it.
Well, I know, but you owe money to the bank, so it's a negative.
Fuck
asset.
the bank.
But no, so
my net worth is $318,000.
The Dave Ramsey millionaire, let's say. So, like, anyway, all your assets combined minus all your God damn it, what's the word? Your assets minus your Good drown, Gilbert. Fuck. What you owe? Shit you owe on.
Assets and debt.
It's not debt, the word I'm looking for, but yes, your assets minus your debt.
It's your negative.
That's your net worth.
Yeah, I got you.
So as long as your net worth is $1 million, you don't have to make $1 million a year. That makes you a millionaire.
But at the same time, just because you own $1 million in something that's not like money, obviously, if it's making money, that's fine. But you don't have $1 million.
You have to own it outright, though. You can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't owe on it. That reminded me. I was going to answer your question as to why the economy is such in a shitty state. I want to say it was AOC that tweeted this, but I know it was a Democrat. They gave some figures that if they had a wealth tax. This is how much, I think it was like 3 or 4 people would pay, and this is how much they would have left. And then she said, it's like, this is why we have a deficit. Except when you add up all the taxed money, it's not even $1 trillion. It's not even close. It's still in the, I think it ended up being.
It's still in the mid billions.
Yeah, it's still in the mid billions.
It's like 500-600 billion.
I'm like, holy shit, you just identified the problem completely by accident. That's the problem. The problem isn't tax revenue, although it is a problem. But the problem is y'all motherfuckers be spending too much money.
Like, bro, we started a fucking revolution over what percentage?
Something like not even 3. Like,
Yeah. And now we're sitting here, like, most everybody pays anywhere between 30 and 50%.
no, it's not that high.
Okay, 30 to 40%.
It's not that high.
There was at one. There was at
It's about-
points where
it's
I
about
was making a
12.
certain amount, and it was it was like I'm not talking just income tax. I'm
Oh,
talking
okay.
all the other taxes, because when you get
Oh.
taxed, your check is like fucking dwindled down, and generally it's 25 to 35%.
That's what's taken out, but usually people get a tax refund because they.
Yeah,
Take
add
the
that
maximum.
money up over the year.
But yeah,
You don't even get half of it back
Oh,
that
I
you
know.
spent.
I know.
So it's still theft, because the thing is,
It's not theft, but
taxation is theft.
no, it's not. Oh my god.
It is. It is.
My roads.
Taxation is fucking theft,
No,
because
it's not.
I didn't say I wanted to pay taxes. So if I don't want to pay those taxes, Uncle Roger come tell you, you fuck off.
I know you're joking, so I'm not going to get into that debate, but
Obviously, taxes are good for certain things. I like roads.
I like roads.
You
Wow.
know,
I took
libraries
a
are cool. My kids love
road,
them.
I took a road to get here.
Listen, he took the road. It's in his back pocket. He's got a laptop in his back pocket. His pen will go off when he half cocks it. Made a living and a killing off of it.
So anyway, that was Ron DeSanctimonious.
For the most part.
I mean, pretty much. I highly recommend you check out the blog post on rtamedia.org, and I do recommend you listen to the stream. It was audio only, and I touch on that in the blog, how I think that was a problem, that it was audio only. I think that was a mistake. I think it should have been video, but I go into the why on that.
The why, the who? Was that you?
The what?
it
I don't know.
was me. It wasn't me. My computer's farting. I like this angle. It's just gonna be tough for shorts.
Yeah, that's why I'm not keen on it. But we'll
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Well, should we tell them? We got more cameras coming.
Yay! So you can see our ugly faces in different angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Gonna get some colonoscopy close-ups.
Oh.
Not actual colon. I mean, like, it's gonna be that close.
Get a look at that asshole. That has two meanings.
That's good.
Especially for a proctologist.
I like that.
That's what he said.
So anyway, thank you for enjoying this episode of the Average Intelligence Podcast. As always, hopefully you're a little bit less average and a little bit more intelligent. But, well, we said I couldn't drown Gilbert like 6 times tonight, so
Reese.
do what you will with that information. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, comment, all that good shit, because any engagement helps the algorithm, and we are fighting an uphill battle.
Special announcement, and I haven't even told him. We're gonna do we're not gonna specifically put a time to it, but we are gonna do a quick live stream from Kings Island next Sunday.
This Sunday.
This Sunday, yeah.
Sunday.
This Sunday, so we are going to do a little live. We're just, it's obviously with a phone, whatever, but
Fucking around.
But show off our favorite park, obviously, because I don't think I've been to any other one besides Kentucky Kingdom and
That's a good thing, park.
Kings
Solid.
Island. I think they're
They're high ranked.
they're trying, or not they're trying, but I believe there's for like best park, they're very close.
Yeah, they're up there.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, next week's podcast, we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse.
Where are we going? Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. but we'll be talking about it on Thursday. And I'm sorry, it's not Into the Spider-Verse. That's an old movie. Across the Spider-Verse.
Which are good movies.
Yeah, they're very good movies.
Like the Miles Morales character, I really like it.
I'm very excited for this. And this is coming from someone who the first time I saw Into the Spider-Verse, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Right.
Then I watched it again, and I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to turn into one of those podcasts that we should have recorded. So
Yeah,
we're going to end this, and we are going to check back. Obviously, like I said, Sunday, we're going to have like a special little quick live. And then next Thursday,
I'll
Spider-Man.
probably cut together some kind of like a vlog for that day, too.
Okay.
To shoot little segments here and there. And we're going to show you the best place to eat if you go to Kings Island.
Some of them. They took out Mex Hank.
Well, that's just a
Hank on nine.
Yeah, but that's just a glorified Qdoba.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, like, it was a good meal.
By the way, you asshole.
What?
One time we went there, you got that before we... Just out of principle, he was like, I'm going to get some fucking food. We'd eaten like an hour before that. And then you left the goddamn bowl in my truck, and I didn't know it.
Oh! Because I ate it on the way
Yeah,
home.
because I got in there, and I'm like, what the fuck is that smell?
It smells like Indian food in a diaper.
It smells like... I listened to that on the way here.
It's such a good song.
Be
We're
sure to check out-
definitely going to listen to it on the way there.
Be sure to check out the audio streams if you prefer to listen to the podcast. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, other stuff. It's all on there. YouTube Music as well.
Goodbye, everybody.
Fuck off.